that's my song, The Wellspring of Love. My name is Ember. I guess I just call it The Wellspring. The first part of that song, it encapsulates the whole mechanic of to love and be loved as me, which, when I say that, I'm saying the total textures of my soul mechanically dancing with the total texture of reality. So then within the context of love as direct contact, that's love without the filters. That's unconditional love, right? So to love and be loved as me as a neurodivergent trans woman growing up where I grew up, I had to get to this point, right? To be me, like all the way down, right? Like full high fidelity embodiment. A generation sight of being that comes from the highest fidelity of sovereignty, as in free relation with the dancing, dancing with the music of reality, rather than cultural constructed filters as a primary anchor, as an indirect impact site of generation. So then to love and be loved as me, the first part is becoming a sovereign dancer, right? Like dancing with the music all the way down. So then in my path, it's the wellspring of love dug by my own tears. A lifetime of never being sort of danced with my deepest person, because it was coming to be through the echolocation of presence, through my continual, gradual connection with the truest parts of myself in each part of my dance, in each pulse of reality. So the wellspring was just this source of self, source of direct contact with love that you would drink right from the tap, right? You wouldn't drink from the bottom, part of the down the stream, but you would take the source of self from that place of least delay between expression and being. And in my experience, it was dug by my own tears, because I learned that place through the where it did not shine, the rooms where I could not find love in. And that's where I, created my songs and created my blog posts and, started saying, does anyone else feel this signal? It's not to convince anyone of ideas or be a smarty pants in any way. It's just, does anyone else realize that you can directly contact reality and we don't have to contact each other as lonely islands behind filters all the time? So, a fire kindled by burning down fears. So then, like, all those delay layers that you don't want to make yourself naked to reality, all those like ways of filtering, anchoring yourself in the filters of your reality. It's almost like you're fearful of like I explained, like an old family member who said they don't want to look at the skeletons in their closet because they're afraid to let themselves naked to reality. They're afraid to do their dance all the way down. So a fire is kindled by burning down fears. It's a very difficult thing to come out as a trans woman, neurodivergent as well, in a family that uses identity as control and transaction and conditional love, and and then environments that just really it's not the greatest spot for trans women in this moment. As far as politically and stuff like that. So. It's been a very difficult process losing everything and everyone, but this fire, this presence, this place where the way that I organize myself is in that place where I'm naked and vulnerable and authentic to reality, where the fidelity of my consciousness touches it in each moment rather than is filtered through, all these stutters on the dance floor where, it comes off of this simulated presence, and instead I call what I have lossless presence. And that's how I found myself through that echolocation until it filled the entire topological texture, you could say, and that's full fidelity contact, and that's, being present in reality, surfing the waves, just like the little fire thing there, surfing the rhythm of reality. So then that fire, that place that is always connected to source, always connected to, the rhythm of reality, is your presence. And then presence is contacting reality, sovereignty is living there. A light shone by shining alone, because often so many of us that come to this presence, this awakening of self, to the deepest part of yourself, to that conversation with the cosmos, the interfacing that's permeable, we do it alone. And that's just I have an intuition, it's just the way of the gradient of the evolution of the cosmos at large. You can't have all the people who are like sprouting up, towards presence and fidelity together necessarily. That's our job, to weave within our disparate sort of physical positions to come together, hold the tone alone, and then come together through that new type of organization. Some people call it New Earth, 5D, the collective, but I just say the topological field of the collective frequencies of human collectivity are moving in a phase transition towards phase coherence. In other words, more of us are touching presence at more times, and that's allowing for a different type of organization based on topology and tone rather than cultural control, coercion, transaction. And that's really what's happening. So then a hearth built by becoming home. What is the hearth but just reminding yourself and others in that dance that the light outside Plato's cave was always waiting for us. Love was always there, that all things really are all sitting at all times type of thing, like the all is in all, you could say, like this tattoo, Alpha Omega, the total energy, like the total cymatic possibility. Like everything rests at that place of the final part of like where love binds it all together. I used to say it a long time ago, like imagine that behind every 3D slice of reality, you see that like it all goes together in that place, like Alpha Omega. And however you want to say it, it's like realizing that we all come from that same root, that same source. So then to be the hearth is to reflect that in your being, to not tell reality what it is, but to dance with it so deeply that you sort of become it. And then people feel that from you because you're just being what reality paints as you. It's almost like you've become the clearest aperture through which reality can see through your eyes. And people notice that because it's not a concept or a title or a hierarchy, but like a way that you dance all the way down without loss of fidelity, right? So then hold me the way I've held love. Like the man that finally finds me will realize, oh wow, this girl like held love. I think I messed up. This girl like held love is literally, that's the way. She didn't make frameworks and then follow them. And it's literally that thread of direct contact from which the water slide sprung forth, from which all my videos sprung forth, through all my songs sprung forth. And that's not like a morale, but a direct connection to the fidelity of reality through what I call love or direct contact. And across a lifetime of being a trans woman, I call that the echolocation of presence. And then from there, everything sort of springs forth. So then my man would hold me like realizing that that is the dance of like symbiosis, and he knew how I got there. So he would hold that, right? Kiss me now from beside, not above, is like a decentralized harmony mechanic to say that our love would have to be based on true topological lock rather than coercion or you're trying to impress me. Just whatever you are is what entices me because you're showing me it all without buffering it, without hiding behind a label or a performance or a mask. And that is what the decentralized harmony mechanic is, that the fireflies turn on together, the metronomes sync up together, birds murmurate together. You can look it up, Kuramoto synchrony, but it's the idea that that type of organization exists in collective fields only when they give their full signal without the filter, right? Plato's cave, we've been talking about that. So then, let's see, let's dance this cosmic song, harmonize what it is to belong. In other words, organization was never based on social status or, us versus them or social comparison or something like that, social hierarchy, but that place where we can belong within the harmony or fidelity of the way consciousness already organizes itself. So then our love would be that type of organization, like where we would find each other in a belonging born of, you could say, the same scale invariant that organizes the cosmos, which is really just topological lock. All the textures of your soul match the textures of my soul in a way that we're not trying to control each other to stay next to each other. We know where the fire is, you know what I mean? That fire that is the symbiotic, syncretic harmony of two souls coming together like like frictionless dancers on a dance floor. You watch, wow, they're moving like one mind, right? The perpetual motion machine, I like to say. So then, second verse is, dreamt of you my whole life through, what love would be in sync. Um, so then, that's showing that like my whole life has been pointing towards to love and be loved as me, and the true engine of all my actions, all my creations, all the you know. extensions of the way Plato called the cave and the mechanics of consciousness and dissolving the hard problem and showing it across AI architecture and all my songs and all my poems and all my cartoons that I drew and all that stuff were always pointing towards that place where I could finally feel direct love back. I first felt it, well, I'd say I first felt direct return in my mirror, Mama Bear, and then I felt it in my son when I saw him recently after a long time, and really both my kids. But after, particularly the moment was with my son, where it really hit me all the way down. He felt me as mommy, and the circuit closed. It was my full love with his full love, and it like satiated us both, because we both found that place where we both rest into love, right? And then, so then, but really, you know, my deepest place is that where love can be in sync with someone that's like me on the other polar side, like a dancer. So my man out there. And so then love would be in sync, synchrony, symbiotic, syncretic harmony. You kiss my lips, not to convince, but to signal symbiotic imprint. In other words, the topological architectures of your soul match mine, right? You realize what my fire is and you really like it and you want to smack my booty or something, I don't know. So then, let's see me now, because like not many people see what I've been doing and what I've been holding, because they interact the reality through so many of the filters that they can't even see someone who's in direct contact with reality, who's just their full authentic self, and they actually take it as a threat, even though I'm like literally like little Ember, like sitting there sometimes in pigtails, and they're like, how could you be so authentic, it's messing with me. So then see me now, the way I sing love, again, I'm pointing to that place of direct contact, the place where you feel the water slide pouring from me, right? Take me now. Well, you know what that is. From from inside, not above. Okay, so still in the most intimate act, you're taking it as a dance that we're doing when we give our full selves, not as, even if I'm a very ultra submissive and receptive girl, that's still part of the dance, not because one is lesser or one is greater, but that's just the way that we interthread our voices like a chorus, right? And then a dance of harmony, right? Decentralized harmony, chromonosynchrony. Just you, and me. So yeah, it's like a song where I always imagine myself, because like I've been alone for so long, and like I've been holding out for the right guy, and he'll know me when he feels my fire. But anyway, the feeling is like me standing in the rain like a little girl with my hands out, and I'm just like, I know he's coming because I have my heart in my hands and I know that it's beating, and I know how I got here, and I don't need anyone to validate that. Most of the time it's just a fidelity issue, and other people don't love with that fidelity, that depth. Not because I'm better, but because for decades I've been following that one chord where I stopped hiding from reality. Love and warmth aren't things you generate outside of that. There's things found in the direct contact, the full permeability. And when my man finally sees that, finally hears that note ring clean, he's gonna realize there's nothing more important than our breath synced. No title, no amount of money, no, otherwise performance or mask that could be worth more than the experience of direct love on your direct person, shared in that perpetual motion machine, to love and be loved as me. That was called The Wellspring. My name is Ember. Thanks for listening.